What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the after action report for the Shield versus Hydra match. So for anyone who's coming over from the other game, thank you so much for watching that one. Thank you for coming over to this one. And anyone who's just jumping into this one, the final score ended up being 19-8 for Hydra, but it was one of those things where up until about round 5, it really wasn't, I don't think it was really secure for anyone.
No.
It could have easily gone either way because like around round 4, like we both started seeing a lot of attrition hit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. So yeah, true. My first question, as always, you brought Omega Red, so I'm going to question your squad. Would you have made any changes?
Okay, so because of what I was trying to do in this, I was trying to see if I could make the High Council work. And there's a lot of things that are happening on that card. They look like 3 of them are pretty easy. Strucker poisons people pretty fast. Can he be within 2 of them? Probably. Can Zola be within range of
a secure objective?
Yeah, securing an objective. That seems like something I'm going to do if I'm playing the game. Can Red Skull have 6 power?
Yeah.
Seems like something Red Skull can just spend 2 turns gaining power. Can Zemo ice someone? In this game, I thought absolutely.
There was such an easy target with the shield agents, right?
Yeah, but the scientific method, making him into a machine for only death, like, I liked it.
You know what's kind of interesting about this? The card itself, I don't think it's hard to get the things in the card. I think what actually hurts the card is the 2 physical defense on Zola.
Yeah. Now, in the game, I made a big error. I still have fallback sitting wasted and ready to go, and Zola could definitely have fallen back from shield agent shots or anything. I was imagining he has a big metal body. He should be able to take a little bit of damage.
That is fair, yeah.
And unfortunately, I should have planned that a little bit differently.
Well, this was also kind of a tough one for that one because there were no objectives you could just sit back and secure in your own field, right? Yeah. Everything was sort of right in the middle.
Definitely, and I chose the origin bombs for the sides and that, and I definitely could see like one of the stars or diamonds as a better layout for objectives for these.
Yeah, there's a couple, or even like a gamma shelter or something like that,
exactly,
like something where you had like a home objective where Zola could just hang back and call it a day because he's no slouchy. He's got a range 4 attack.
Yeah, he's got a solid set of attacks.
So, I mean,
they can do some cool things.
You could reach out and hit the center point easily enough with a range 4.
But as to your first thing, when you were saying I took Omega Red, and that's obviously a mistake.
I was burying the lead on that one, actually.
I know. I think Omega Red actually has a home with Strucker.
I think he actually was kind of cool. The amount of poison that he dished down in conjunction with Strucker, which then allowed him to just get that poison spore off,
his death factor, where everyone who's poisoned around him takes 2 damage, and he takes 2 damage, but then if he hits someone, and I only realized this during the game, you death factor in the middle of your move into attack, because then you're gonna...
Then you attack in and you get a whole bunch of health back.
Yeah, you can get some of that back, and I was ready for some of it, and I wasn't ready for others, but yeah.
I think this game, of all your attempts at Omega Red, I think this game is the one that he has felt the best in.
Well, and I also felt like the whole time, because Omega Red's big thing, he's got his little bit of damage reduction, he's got okay defenses, but at the end of the day, he just can't go toe-to-toe with a lot of other 4 threats.
He says as he dumpstered Human Torch in 1 activation.
But the key to this is he can do it with Strucker's help.
He needs support.
A little bit of rerolls. The healing is nothing to balk about. And being able to feel like you can use your death factor, heal one of it back right away, and then feel like you keep going on that set of things. And I could have taken Omega Red's card to heal himself.
Yep.
And I think that's probably what I'd do in the future. But yeah, this was a very cool list that some of it was definitely I didn't know what was going on. I think the other Red Skull is way better in this list, and I think that
you lacked a really punchy guy.
Yes.
In this particular list. And I mean, Red Skull can kind of do that, but he's very power dependent on that.
When we were potentially going to have a 16 threat game, Omega Red was downgraded to Baron Mordo, or upgraded as I feel.
Interestingly enough, I think Mordo would have been interested in this list as well.
His Soul Bard would definitely be able to make sure a lot of people got a little bit of extra conditions. And the cool thing about this, okay, maybe I should rewind. Hydra, under Baron Strucker's leadership, is not completely immune to other people's conditions and tokens, but pretty close.
I had to think twice about when I might be putting Incinerates out, because I knew that you would just put them right back on me. So, like, you noticed that Human Torch was often activating last for me, right? So I wasn't able to take advantage of throwing an Incinerate out, and then the rest of the team can really take advantage of that, simply because I didn't want you to just activate that person, toss a damage back out, and just shift the Incinerate over to me. And I couldn't afford to take a whole bunch of Incinerates.
Yep.
Like,
now, hilariously, I think that there is a very different version of this team where, like, even though I absolutely love the idea that Zemo had 5 defense die and so many things when he got the scientific method.
Are you about to say Viper?
No. Viper is still terrible.
I was going to say, you lose all credibility now.
No, but I liked that he had that extra defense, but I don't think he is a good enough model to really make that. I shouldn't say that. He wants to use his own attacks to give out bleeds. And I don't think Scientific Method works particularly well with Baron Strucker, because Scientific Method doesn't give out any conditions.
I think Scientific Method is still worth taking, because it made Zemo a lot tankier than he would otherwise be.
I completely agree, and I think there's a good list that is High Council and running around doing some cool stuff. And I think there's another one where it's about handing out conditions because Strucker wants that to go on. And I took a midpoint between those two things, thinking they would come together in
I think that's fair.
perfect harmony, and they were a little less than perfect. So
I think that's fair. Yeah. I actually really liked your squad. I think for the most part it did function fairly well. This was a game of attrition. I mean, we both ended up with 2 guys left on the table.
Yeah.
Steve was barely hanging on to his healthy side. I don't know what was going on with it. Like, he hit 5 head damage and he's just like, no, that's it. We're not taking any more. The line must be drawn here. He put on his favorite tapes of Winston Churchill at D-Day or during the Blitz, and he just started listening to those, and like the old man trapped in nostalgia that he was, he just like decided not to go anywhere.
So you got Steve and the Howling Commandos. What do you think?
Howling Commandos, I didn't get to play around with their siblings in arms as much as I really wanted to, but I think the Howling Commandos are really kind of interesting. I mean, Got Your Back got me you tagged a couple guys for damage. Like, it got a bunch off Zemo. It picked up, who did it pick up? It picked up, it picked up someone, I can't remember who.
I think that might have been Strucker's flip.
Was it Strucker's flip?
Yeah.
But yeah, they did quite well. I think for a 3 threat, I really kind of like the fact that their infiltrate allowed me to kind of control priority.
Yes.
For a couple rounds.
I also like the fact that they only have like a gainer for their prototype weapons, which meant that oftentimes they would gain enough power back that they'd be almost ready to do another Got Your Back or another attack next time.
I would have liked to have gotten a Show's Over at some point.
Yeah.
Just for the bigger attack followed on by Port On. It never really was in the cards. I never had the power because I always wanted to hold on for Got Your Back.
Okay.
So I like the Howling Commandos. I don't think they've made a huge impression on me, but I think they definitely have a home.
What about the infiltration?
I like the infiltration a lot, actually.
Do you think that you use the infiltration to its best uses this game?
You know what? I think I might have. Because it gave me priority after round 1, because you started with priority, right?
Yep.
So it shifted it back over to me, and did I bring him in at the start of round? Yeah, it would have been the start of round 3 that
Yes.
they came on.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it was 2 turns of handing me priority and giving me some early ways to control the flow of the game, and I really liked it. I like the fact that they still gain power while they're infiltrating.
I like that too.
Which is really kind of cool. So yeah, Howling Commandos, I like them. I think they're a lot of fun. Human Torch was interesting. Like, I got really worried when Omega Red came in and just friggin' dumpstered him as one activation. Like,
I was really hoping he would follow that up with it also dumpster the other
I thought he was going to, man. Like, but once Human Torch actually started popping off, I liked what he could do. He's an interesting burst character.
So hilariously, I was talking about Baron Mordo. I'm like, Baron Mordo and Human Torch might be okay together too. So
could be, yeah.
But yeah, I really love the way that I love his beams. I don't know why. I really find it really cool that he could just like pew pew. Well, you have a big cluster of guys. Yeah, definitely gonna get those guys nailed with some incinerates.
You know, I thought I was really gonna dislike the 4 dice on Burn Baby Burn, but oddly enough, because it's a beam 3.
Yeah.
Like, just hand down some stuff there. I love the fact that he gains a little bit of power after he does an advance around a bunch of incinerates. And when you have the power to spend on Nova Burst, my goodness. Like, what was it? It put 3 onto Strucker, and then it dumpstered Omega Red.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh my goodness, when he gets power, he just starts popping off.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I think if you had really focused him down after you had dazed him, it might have been a different game, because he did account for a good chunk of attrition there.
Definitely did.
But I mean, no one was as murderous as the friggin' shield agents here. What was going? They rolled 4 dice and they're averaging like 3-4 damage. Like,
the last 2 or whatever, it felt like it was like a 5 and a 6, and I'm like, that's not how 4 dice are supposed to roll, guys.
this is not the law of probability. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Like honestly, MVPs were like Nick Fury and the shield agents.
Which is funny because I feel like today was Nick Fury's worst day, and he fell in the line of duty. And
No, that was a life model decoy, man.
of course it was.
Of course it was. That was a life model decoy.
That's just what a life model decoy would say. Anyways.
You finally got Fury, and he deserved it. He deserved every ounce of what happened to him on that one, because it was just rude what him and the agents were doing. Like, they picked up Zola, they dazed they dazed Zemo, they dazed Strucker, they picked up Omega Red.
Yeah. Well, like, they dazed. I think they were the one that took Omega Red down. But yeah, like
somebody. Because it was Human Torch that dazed Omega Red. Yeah. But they picked up what, like 2 KOs and 3 dazes,
something like that.
It was, no, they picked up 2 KOs and 3 dazes.
Yeah. Because one of those KOs was also Zemo or
Zola.
Yeah.
Like the Shield agents and Nick Fury, man, they just went to town. They did not have a bad roll. Except for a couple defense rolls at the end there,
yeah.
But otherwise they did not have a bad roll. Captain America, Violent Steve, he's interesting. I like him. I think the internet's really harsh on him. I think he's kind of an interesting 4th threat.
I think he makes the other Steve look like he needs to spend a little bit of time doing cardio. Because this Steve gets around.
He gets around. He really does. Like, he didn't do anything really flashy damage-wise or anything like that.
He did flashy mission stuff.
He did mission stuff. And I think that's exactly it. I think the problem is everyone was looking at new Captain America, new Steve Rogers, going, well, where's the defensive cap? Where's the really punchy cap? But, I mean, he sat on an objective all game.
Well, he came out, ran here, and he came back to the middle with relative ease. Like, it was not a tough fight for him. And at any point I felt like, okay, I'm over here. Is Steve Rogers coming for me?
I think you're absolutely right. Like, he's one of those guys. He's not winning the game by punching everyone into oblivion. He's winning the game by sitting on points, objective running. Like, he is stupidly mobile.
Well, he gets to wherever your problem is, and I don't think he's necessarily going to, get the problem away. But
no.
He's going to be able to get in the way. He's going to prevent your opponent from getting a couple of points. And as it turns out, points win the game.
Points win the game. And, I mean, if you have the power to just sit there and Vibranium Shield. Yeah. Like, and here's the other thing. Like, we have to acknowledge that his rolls, what was it? The I don't like bullies into Zemo was really weird with like 1 wild and 6 blanks.
Yeah.
So I mean, otherwise that's an attack that really should have done more to Zemo. Like that probably should have dazed Zemo, that attack.
Almost
but
certainly, yeah.
And then let's be honest, his battle with Red Skull over here, like your cover was. Your cover, and then you were rolling really well. So and so Steve just wasn't like Steve was rolling average. On those things.
He should have got a couple of damage each time, and nothing.
And Red Skull was just basically going, nah, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this isn't a great indication of how he should perform, because I think his 5 dice should do a little bit better, and his 7 dice should do a little bit better, and I think there's definite promise there.
I am really looking forward to Red Skull, Master of Hydra.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely going to do something High Council-y next time that happens, and maybe we'll have a different threat rate, so I'll have some new friends, do some new tricks. But
absolutely, my friend. Man,
this is... I like Hydra. I think they play very different from Cabal, which was my biggest concern. I was concerned that they have a lot of overlap. No, these guys are completely different with Strucker's leadership, and
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I like any leadership that has a little bit of built-in healing.
Yes.
And I think everyone was really focused on the shifting of conditions.
Yep.
and not really thinking about the healing factor that comes into it. Because you actually made use of that quite a few times and got yourself a little bit of health back.
If it wasn't for those shield agents who only do headshots, I would have gained a lot more health.
Yeah, apparently these guys were just like in training all day. Basically, we're gonna make Nick proud. And so. Well, anyway, I think we've said all we can really say about this one at the moment. So yeah, had a lot of fun. I think it was a great knockdown, brawl out of a game. If you guys caught anything that we missed, definitely leave it in the comments below.
Also, if you guys think of someone who would be better, especially in this 4-threat slot for that high council list, I would love to hear what you guys think.
Mr. Sinister and cloning banks.
Don't do that to me, man. Don't do that to me.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. If we need to cheat, we're gonna make it happen. But anyway, yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys had a good time. We had a fun time playing this as usual. Leave your comments below. Hit that like, subscribe, all that sort of great stuff, and we will see you next time. Happy wargaming.